Hello friends, I welcome all of you to my new lecture session on chemistry of vitamins. So in this, let's discuss in detail about chemistry and biological significance of vitamin E, or we also call it as tocopherol. Way back in 1900s, Dr. McLean Evans and Dr. Bishop. So these are the two physicians who did a lot of research work on physiology of reproduction. So as a part of their research work, they tried to find out if any relation is there between food and reproduction. So they have isolated an anti-sterility factor from wheat germ oil. They named it as tocopherol in 1936. What do you mean by tocopherol? Tocos means children, phero means to bear, oil means alcohol. So this is the way how actually tocopherol name came into being. In tocopherols, as many as 8 different tocopherols were obtained, because here the first tocopherol was isolated from wheat germ oil. So in the same way, in all the remaining seeds, oils obtained from seeds, you can find one or the other kind of a tocopherol like alpha, beta, gamma, delta and others. They are found to be strongly antioxidant, where amongst all tocopherols, delta tocopherol was found to be of a highest antioxidant potential. Isolation. Tocopherols were actually isolated first from wheat germs. The procedure is relatively simple and straightforward. Let's see. So first they will take the wheat germs and then via compression method they obtain the oil, cold compression method. This oil contains many chemicals like fixed oils, contains triglycerides, steroids and other oily compounds, but in wheat germ oil, first we have to remove the fatty acids. So saponification is done with 20% alcoholic KOH under nitrogen. This is very important because when if oxygen is there, it gets oxidative degradation. Okay, so that's the problem. Then once you remove the fatty acids and water soluble chemicals, etc., unsaponifiable matter is collected separately. So this unsaponifiable matter now contains steroids and vitamin E. So sterols are removed by adding digitonine, which forms a insoluble complex with this, and then sterols are removed. The remaining vitamin E, which is actually present as oil, is distilled at 200 to 250 degrees centigrade under earth environment, 0.1 mm of mercury. Okay, so at this much vacuum, they found they could isolate vitamin E, but distillation at 200 to 250 degrees centigrade actually destroyed most of the vitamin E. So that's why commercially right now people are not using distillation method for obtaining vitamin E. So right now tocopherols are isolated by using chromatography. Okay, so in 1930s we don't have the silica gel, etc., because at that time only paper chromatography and Fuller's earth. Fuller's earth is also used as stationary phase. Tocopherols are yellow in color. It is oily. These are all oils, yellow in color, soluble in non-polar solvents. That way we call them as oil soluble vitamins. They are relatively stable at 100 degrees centigrade, but if you go beyond that or in the presence of oxygen, you will find no, degradation of vitamin E, or it gets oxidized, so it gets chemically modified, and it's a strong antioxidant. So these are the properties of tocopherols. Let's see the chemistry of alpha tocopherol. So how actually its structure is elucidated, and then this information we will extend to the remaining tocopherols. Alpha tocopherol's molecular formula is found to be C29H50O2. So for C29H50O2, if we calculate number of unsaturations, here we have 29. Okay, 29 minus 50 by 2 is 25, because there is no nitrogen or halogens. 0 plus 1. Okay, so how many? 30 minus 25. So how many 5 unsaturations are there? So it is definitely an unsaturated compound. There is an indication that it contains so many double bonds are there, because so many carbons are there. We cannot guess whether alkene or something else is there. Okay. Next one is they have done so many chemical reactions, and all the positive reactions we'll discuss here. Alpha tocopherol formed a monoacetate and a monoether. Okay, monoacetate and a monoether. What does it mean? It contains one free hydroxy group is there, because here we have two oxygens are there. How many what types of functional groups are possible? Let's say two oxygens means it could be carboxylic acid or carboxylic acid ester. Means in a single functional group you can find two oxygens. But when one is a hydroxy group, then what kind of functional group can be there? With mono oxygen, it can be a ketone, aldehyde or an ether. Next one is alpha tocopherol gave ferric chloride reaction. Ferric chloride positive means where the hydroxy group whatever we found in the first two reactions is actually an enol. Okay, phenol because ferric chloride reaction means ferric chloride reacts with phenols and gives violet coloration. So that's a characteristic chemical reaction for phenols. And UV spectrum also, because in 1930 to 1940 UV spectrum is widely used for analysis of organic compounds. They found that the UV spectrum is matching with phenols, monoethers. And this compound gave negative test for 2,4-dinitrophenyl hydrogen, so there is no carbonyl group in this compound. So what could be the next one? The next oxygen that's whatever we have over here is an ether. It could be any ether. So with all these chemical tests, what we found is one phenolic hydroxy group is there, one ether group is also there. Alpha tocopherol upon thermal degradation gave very important information regarding structural fragments, structural features. So here upon thermal degradation they got three compounds. One is duroquinol, duroquinone and communol. Okay, so these are the three compounds that are obtained. These clearly indicated presence of a benzene ring as well as some information regarding substitution pattern, because it is obtained via thermal degradation. And if you observe the structures, so here we have hydroquinone, this is the quinone, and then benzoquinol, and here we don't have the hydroxy group. So there is a possibility of presence of phenolic hydroxy group is confirmed with the earlier test, but the other substitutions cannot be introduced by using thermal degradation. So this clearly indicated that we have a benzene with the fully substituted benzene ring, where at the para positions we have two oxygens attached to the benzene ring. One of them could be hydroxy group because it is already confirmed. The other one need to be an ether. Okay, so phenolic ether. So this confirmed that there is a possibility of presence of a hydroquinone structure or a quinol structure, where on one side we have an ether, the other side the free hydroxy group is there. All the remaining carbons are substituted. And so how it is substituted, that is what we have to establish. So here when you have a phenol group, okay, benzene ring is there. How many unsaturations we are accounting for? 3 double bonds means 3 unsaturations and ring is there. So 4 unsaturations are gone here. So from the molecular formula we needed 5 unsaturations. So only one unsaturation is there. So that means we need to have one more ring or one double bond. In the second oxidative degradation reaction with chromic acid, they obtained a fragment C20H40O and then maleic anhydride, dimethyl maleic anhydride. So these are the two compounds that were obtained. So this fragment C20 carbon containing fragment was found to be optically active, and it's a hydroxy acid which rapidly formed a lactone. Because lactones are formed, it is common to see gamma lactone, delta lactone, alpha lactone, beta lactone being formed, because whenever hydroxy group as well as carboxylic acid are present in a single compound, spatial proximity if it is there, there is a possibility of formation of lactone. But the thing is, this lactone formation follows some kinetics. Okay, so in case of gamma lactone, a rapid formation of lactone will be there. The moment you synthesize this hydroxy carboxylic acid, immediately it goes into lactone formation. So it should be a gamma lactone. So only gamma lactones will be rapidly formed. So that kinetics indicated that there is a possibility of formation of a gamma lactone. The next one is the hydroxy group that they found over here is resistant to oxidation. Resistant to oxidation means what? Alcohols upon oxidation they are going to become C double bond O, either ketone or an aldehyde. So primary alcohol gives you aldehyde, secondary alcohol will give you ketone. Whereas if you go to tertiary alcohol, means on a single carbon uh, where we have three substitutions are there, you cannot further oxidize that alcohol group. So these observations clearly indicated that the compound is a tertiary alcohol. And this tertiary alcohol formed methyl ester with methanol, sorry, methyl ester with methanol is not tertiary alcohol because this is a carboxylic acid. This carboxylic acid formed methyl ester with methanol and it is resistant to hydrolysis. So these observations clearly indicated that there is a possibility of this type of structure, means this is carboxylic acid, and then if you see this is alpha position, this is beta, and this is gamma. On gamma position you have the hydroxy group, so thereby it forms a lactone like this. So this is their proposal. So this is the way how we can have a gamma lactone, which upon this one upon esterification it forms a methyl ester. So this lactone was taken and further degraded. Oxidative degradation gave two compounds. One is a ketone with the C18H36O2. The other one is 2 carbonless, okay, carboxylic acid C16H32O2. So if you see C16H32O2, if you see the molecular formula over here, how many unsaturations are there? 16 minus 16 plus 1 means only one unsaturation is there. If it is a carboxylic acid, C double bond O will be there, so that unsaturation is actually accounting for the needed one unsaturation. So this one is definitely a saturated alkane. This compound was subjected to Kuhn-Roth oxidative degradation. So here they take compound and severely oxidize it because it is almost like destructive distillation type of oxidative degradation, where in the compound if there is a presence of CCH3 is there, so that will give you acetic acid, that will be oxidized to acetic acid. It's a quantitative method where if you take a compound and then oxidize it in this Kuhn-Roth procedure, the number of moles of acetic acid that you are getting from 1 mole of compound clearly indicates or will give you quantitative information of number of CCH3 groups. So here they found 3 CCH3 groups, and because this is an alkane, the substitution pattern that is expected is because we have 16 carbons here. So one of the carbon is carboxylic acid. We have 3 methyl groups. Okay. So 3 methyl groups need to be there as a CCH3s. At that time, the terpenoid chemistry was fully established. So they found, like, because it is a C15, if it is C15, 3 isoprene units can be there. So they presumed presence of 3 isoprene units, and then they proposed the structure of this compound as this. So they presumed it. Okay, they don't know whether it is there or not, but they presumed, because with the existing knowledge at that time they presumed that 3 isoprene units can be there. So thereby they gave this structure, and this is actually giving full support to the all the reactions whatever they observed. Let's say if this is the carboxylic acid, because this is C16, actual compound is C20. So this could be the gamma lactone. So if this is the gamma lactone, then degradation over here. So if this entire fragment, if you remove it in the oxidative degradation, this entire fragment, then here CH, this is a CH3, and this O will become double bond O. So this is the ketone, and then this upon further degradation, if you cut it over here, C16. Okay, so here the whatever the carbon that we have over here, this will become COOH. Okay, so this is actually supporting their proposal. So that's the reason why they considered this as a dependable formula, and then they went ahead. If you consider this as the possible fragment that is obtained upon degradation of tocopherol, then what kind of no, structure you can presume? Because as we have seen in case of thermal degradation, on benzene ring, 3 methyl groups and 2 hydroxy group presence is confirmed. The only thing is we need to first ascertain the sixth position. So this is one of the possibility, and this is the second possibility, via which you can have a ring and then ether and the remaining fragment whatever we got, because as I told you in the beginning, the number of unsaturations are 5. If number of unsaturations are 5, 4 unsaturations are accounted for with the benzene ring. We need one more ring, and we also need to no, incorporate this entire fragment. Okay, so these are the two possibilities. So here itself you can see, let's say if you degrade this compound, you are going to get a tertiary alcohol, but here if you degrade this compound, you are going to get a secondary alcohol from over here. And this upon oxidation, one possibility is oxidation over here. Okay, so this carbon is going to become carboxylic acid, so thereby alpha, beta and gamma. Gamma lactone is going to be formed. Okay, it is like this. This part can form a gamma lactone, and the same thing was actually supported by another reaction. That is, they have taken alpha tocopherol and oxidized it. So obviously it formed a quinone. So there is no surprise. When they reduced it again, it gave them a quinol. Okay, so let's say if you wanted to find out whether this is there or this is there, first thing is if you oxidize it, because quinone formation actually opens up the ring. Quinone formation actually opens up the ring by breaking over here. So that two oxygens are going to become quinones. Okay, quinones. And then if you again reduce it, this will go back to dihydroquinone structure. But if you have this one in this structure, secondary alcohol is going to be there, but here it is a ternary alcohol. Okay, so this one was actually tocopherol was taken and is oxidized to quinone, and it's further reduced to quinol containing tertiary tertiary hydroxy group is there, and then upon treatment with benzoyl chloride, dibenzoyl derivative was obtained. Dibenzoyl derivative, but here we have 3 hydroxy groups are there, but here only 2 hydroxy groups are amenable for benzoylation. What does it mean? It means that one of the hydroxy group is a tertiary, as well as steric hindrance is there, because here on this side you have very big fatty chain is there, and on the other side you have aromatic substitution is there, and we also have a methyl group over here. So that's the reason why this hydroxy group is not very easy to esterify. And further, upon oxidation it did not give any kind of a product. Okay, so because both the hydroxy groups, if you see the structures, if this is the structure, then if you take it and oxidize it, you have the quinonoid unit, and which upon reduction again phenol has come, and this is benzoylated. So both the hydroxy groups are benzoylated, and this hydroxy group is remaining, and which upon oxidation it did not give any product. So that's the reason why scientists confirmed this no, chroman structure. This is chroman, this is chroman ring presence in the alpha tocopherol. So in this way they confirmed the structure of alpha tocopherol as this. Whenever we propose a structure, we need to synthesize it. So here Paul Carrer has synthesized alpha tocopherol. Paul Carrer is known for his contributions in synthesis of several natural products. For his contributions in the synthetic organic chemistry, he was awarded Nobel Prize. And Paul Carrer, he synthesized this one by starting with natural derivatives, semi-synthetic derivatives. Okay, trimethylphenol is one of the product, and then phytyl bromide. Phytyl bromide, actually phytol is the natural product obtained from various natural resources including algae, and this compound was taken and then they got the necessary structure straightforward. Smith synthesis is the second proposal, where he has taken this one phenyl ethanol derivative, and then this one OH group is converted to bromine, and then when you treat it with magnesium, you are going to get a Grignard reagent. This Grignard reagent is taken and then treated with the ketone over here. So ultimately you will get the alcohol, because the RMGX reagent attacks the carbonyl carbon, so thereby tertiary alcohol is generated, which upon treatment with HBr and COOH, CH3COOH, HBr actually frees these two OCH3 group. OCH3 can be hydrolyzed with the HBr, and then in the presence of acetic acid, instantaneously the ether formation happens. So thereby it can give you alpha tocopherol. Okay, so this is the way how alpha tocopherol's structure is confirmed with both degradative reactions as well as synthesis. Now we need to extend this discussion to other tocopherols, beta, gamma and delta tocopherols. So here in case of this is alpha tocopherol, and these are the degraded products we got via thermal degradation. They used the same strategy for beta tocopherol, where upon thermal degradation they got these compounds. What is the difference between the earlier one and this one? Only one methyl group is missing. One methyl group is missing. Okay, so it means like one of the methyl group is lacking in case of alpha tocopherol. That too, this is the way how actually distribution of methyl groups is there. And then upon the oxidative degradation, they got the same kind of gamma lactone as alpha tocopherol. In fact, all the tocopherols upon oxidative degradation will give same kind of gamma lactone. Only difference we can find is in the substitution pattern on the benzene ring. So these observations confirmed that the structure of beta tocopherol is this one. In case of gamma tocopherol, further the only difference is the distribution of methyl groups. In case of beta tocopherol, it is symmetrically distributed across the ring in this way. In case of gamma tocopherol, both the methyl groups are on the same side of the hydroquinone. In case of delta tocopherols, there is no methyl groups. Okay, both on this side as well. Only one methyl group is there. So friends, this is the way how chemistry of tocopherols is elucidated. What is the biological significance of tocopherol? As I told you, tocopherols are needed for reproduction. Okay, but actually tocopherols are very powerful antioxidants, and peroxyradical scavenging activity is there. These are useful in the fat absorption as well as transport. They are essential for the maintenance of surface texture of RBC, as well as it prevents fragility of RBC. Okay. So friends, this is the way how actually tocopherol is playing a major role in our biochemistry, and it is also helping us immensely in the maintenance of reproductive system. I hope you understood the chemistry of tocopherols. Please see that you are understanding the logic behind structural elucidation of the natural products. If you have any doubts, please post it in the comment section, and please share this video with your friends and colleagues, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you again with another very interesting lecture soon. Till then,